You wake up. The alarm on your phone chirps its familiar tune. The birds outside are beginning their morning chorus. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your face, a gentle, golden hug pulling you from the depths of sleep. It's a Tuesday, or maybe a Wednesday. It doesn't really matter. It's just another day. This is the quiet rhythm of our existence. This is the predictable, reliable promise that has been kept for billions of years. Every single morning, no matter what, the sun rises. It paints the sky with hues of pink and orange, banishing the shadows of the night. It warms the earth, awakens life, and signals the start of everything. It's so fundamental to our reality that we never ever question it. We build our lives around it. We schedule our days, our work, our rest, all according to the great celestial clock in the sky. But what if that promise was broken? What if, for the first time in human history, the sun just didn't rise? What if you woke up tomorrow and instead of that familiar golden light, you were met with a darkness so profound, so absolute, it felt less like a night and more like an ending? Don't just imagine it. Feel it. That chill that runs up your spine as you reach for the window and see nothing. Just the deep, inky black of a moonless, starless void. The birds are silent now. The world outside is a canvas painted in the deepest shade of terror. This isn't a sci-fi movie. This isn't a fantasy novel. This is an exploration into the very heart of what we are and what we might become when the one thing we've always counted on is ripped away. What would happen to our homes, our families, our planet, our very sanity? This is the story of the day the sun didn't rise. This is the story of humanity plunged into the ultimate cold and darkness. And trust me, the first few minutes would be the least of our problems. Let's start at the beginning. The alarm goes off at 6:30 a.m. You're groggy. You reach for your phone to check the time, maybe scroll through a few messages. But something is wrong. Your room, which should be bathed in a soft gray light, is still completely dark. Not a street lamp dark. Not a power outage dark. A total, encompassing void. You pull back the curtains, expecting the dawn. Instead, you're met with a black so deep, it feels like you're looking into a vacuum. The streetlights are still on. A few cars pass by, their headlights cutting through the gloom, but it's a desperate, frantic kind of light. The first emotion is confusion. Then a slow, creeping panic. You check the news. Nothing. The internet is alive with a cacophony of questions. Why is it still dark? Did the world end? Is this some kind of sick joke? People are posting pictures and videos, not of the sun, but of the empty, starless sky. The world's governments and scientific communities are in a state of utter chaos. The satellites are still orbiting. The moon is still there, somewhere, but without the sun to illuminate it, it's just another invisible rock in the sky. Astronomers around the globe are staring at their telescopes, seeing nothing but an abyss where our star should be. The data is there. The calculations are being run. The impossible has happened. Our sun, our star, our source of light and life is gone. Or perhaps it's still there, but its light is no longer reaching us. The result is the same. The cold is the same. The darkness is the same. Within hours, the world shifts from disbelief to action, or rather a frantic, uncoordinated scramble. Airports ground all flights. Power grids start to fail as solar panels become useless. The stock market plunges into a free fall, not just losing value, but completely collapsing as the very concept of a future economy becomes meaningless. People are hoarding food, batteries, anything that can produce light or warmth. There are no more traffic jams, just panicked people walking down the middle of streets, holding hands, looking up at a sky that refuses to change. The silence is the most unsettling thing of all. A silence that isn't just the absence of sound, but the absence of hope. But this is just the first day. This is just the immediate reaction. The true consequences of a sunless Earth are so much more horrifying. Because this isn't just about light. It's about everything. But the strangest part is yet to come. Let's pull back from the global scale and zoom in. To a single person. To you. The initial panic has given way to a deep, primal fear. You're in your home, the lights are on, but they feel like a temporary reprieve, a fragile bubble of normalcy in a world gone mad. You look at your phone. It's 10 a.m., but time has no meaning. Time is measured in sunrises and sunsets, in the long, slow arc of the day. Without it, every moment feels like an eternity. You try to call your family. You try to check on your friends. The phone lines are either jammed or down. The internet is a swamp of fear and speculation. A friend texts you a simple message. It's cold. And that's when you notice it. The cold isn't just an external thing. It's seeping into your bones. The heat is still on for now, but the warmth from the sun is gone. The Earth's surface temperature is already beginning to plummet. The darkness plays tricks on your mind. You start to see things in the shadows of your own home. A coat on a chair looks like a person. The creak of the floorboards upstairs sounds like a footstep. Your own reflection in the window is a ghost staring back at you. Your biological clock, your circadian rhythm, is utterly confused. Your brain, which has been fine-tuned over millennia to the cycle of day and night, is screaming. It's a sensory deprivation chamber of unimaginable scale. You are a biological being built for light, living in a world of absolute, unyielding darkness. The quiet is just as bad as the cold. All the small, comforting sounds of life are gone. No birds, no insects, no hum of distant traffic, just the sound of your own frantic breathing. You find yourself turning on every light in the house, even though it feels pointless. You just want to push back against the void, to create a small island of light and warmth. You know it's not real. You know it's just a temporary illusion. But in this moment, illusion is all you have. You go to the kitchen and you're hungry, but you feel no desire to eat. Your appetite has vanished, replaced by a gnawing anxiety. The food in your refrigerator, the food in your pantry, it all seems like a joke, a fleeting, temporary solution to a problem that has no solution. You look out the window again. Still nothing. Just black. The world is a silent, frozen tomb. And you are alone in it. This isn't just a natural disaster. It's a psychological one. A terror that gets inside your head and redefines your very sense of reality. Because you see, a world without the sun is a world where all the old rules are broken. But the real breakdown of society is just beginning. The first day was about shock. The first week is about societal collapse. The initial scramble for supplies has now turned into something darker. The stores are empty. The gas pumps are dry. People are no longer polite. The thin veneer of civilization is peeling away, revealing the raw, desperate human animal underneath. Communication systems are failing. The internet, which was a lifeline for the first few hours, is now a luxury. Cell towers are running on backup generators that are rapidly running out of fuel. The global community is no more. It's been replaced by isolated, terrified groups huddling together for warmth and safety. Families that live a few miles apart might as well be on different planets. Community leaders and governments are trying to maintain order, but their authority is meaningless in the face of this existential threat. Who cares about laws and taxes when the world is ending? The police are overwhelmed, and many are simply abandoning their posts to be with their families. Schools are closed, but not because of a snow day. They were closed because what's the point of an education when there's no future to educate for? The first casualties are not from the cold or the darkness, but from each other. There are fights over food, over warmth, over a few candles or a flashlight. People are breaking into homes, not to steal electronics, but to steal blankets and canned goods. The concept of neighborly kindness is a forgotten luxury. Fear makes monsters of us all. The news broadcasts have long since stopped reporting on world events. They are now simply reading off lists of what to do in an emergency. Conserve your food, conserve your power, don't go outside unless you have to. But no one is listening. They're too busy trying to survive the next hour, the next minute. Culture, as we know it, is dead. Art, music, literature, they feel absurd, a relic of a different time. A time when we had the luxury to create beauty. Now, all that matters is survival. Even religion, for some, is no longer a comfort. For others, it's a terrifying confirmation that this is the end. Prayers are being said in every language, in every corner of the world, to a God who feels impossibly distant, perhaps even non-existent. But we can't just turn inward. We can't just huddle in the darkness and wait. Because while we're busy fighting each other, the real enemy, the science of this disaster, is just getting started. But the physics of what's happening are even more terrifying. Forget the chaos on the surface. Let's talk about the cold, hard science of what's happening. Without the sun's energy, the Earth's average temperature would drop by about 1 degree Fahrenheit every day. That might not sound like much, but it's a death sentence. Within a week, the oceans will begin to freeze over. Not just at the poles, but everywhere. The top layer will become a sheet of solid ice, locking in the water underneath and killing marine life in the process. Within a month, the planet would be a frozen, crystalline sphere, a massive ice cube hurtling through space. Photosynthesis, the very foundation of almost all life on Earth, has stopped. All plants, from the mightiest redwood to the smallest blade of grass, are dying. They are starving for light, their leaves withering and turning to dust. The food chain is collapsing. Herbivores, like deer and cows, have nothing to eat. They will die, and the carnivores that feed on them will soon follow. The insects, the birds, the fish, every living thing that depends on the sun, directly or indirectly, will soon cease to exist. The atmosphere itself is changing. The water cycle, which depends on evaporation from the sun's heat, has stopped. There will be no more rain, no more clouds. The air will become thin and dry. The planet will become a dead, dusty rock. And while you might think we have time, a few months, maybe even a year, to find a solution, the reality is far more brutal. The Earth's core, which provides our geothermal energy, would continue to exist, but its warmth is a tiny, insignificant candle against the infinite cold of space. It would not be enough to prevent the surface from freezing solid. The Earth's magnetic field, which protects us from solar radiation, would still be there, but now it would be a shield against nothing. It would be a monument to a life that once was. Within a year, the Earth would be a barren, lifeless wasteland. The last pockets of warmth would be in deep geothermal vents at the bottom of the frozen oceans, where a few extremophiles might survive. But for the rest of us, it's over. We would be a frozen relic, a testament to what happens when you take the sun for granted. And it's not just the physical world that's dying, it's the world inside our minds. But the greatest casualty won't be our bodies, it will be our souls. In the face of this ultimate darkness, the human mind would not only break, it would be forced to rebuild its entire concept of reality. The sun is not just a source of light and warmth, it's a symbol. It's the symbol of hope, of rebirth, of the cyclical nature of life. Every morning it promises a new day, a new chance. When that promise is broken, so is the very foundation of our philosophical and spiritual beliefs. For millennia, human civilization has been built on the notion of a future. We build monuments, write books, and raise children because we believe in the continuation of life. We believe that what we do today will matter tomorrow. But what if there is no tomorrow? What if the future is just an infinite, frozen void? The very idea of purpose, of meaning, becomes meaningless. Why work? Why love? Why even try to survive when the end is not just coming, but has already arrived? The world's religions would face their ultimate test. For some, this would be a final judgment, a prophesied end. For others, it would be proof of a cold, indifferent universe. But for many, it would be a moment of pure, unadulterated spiritual crisis. Where is God in the absolute darkness? How can you pray to a divine being who has allowed the very source of light to be extinguished? This isn't just a loss of faith, it's a loss of the very framework that gave billions of people comfort and hope. Philosophers have debated the meaning of life for centuries, but they have always done so under the assumption that there is a life to debate. What is the meaning of existence when existence itself is a ticking clock to oblivion? The answers would be as diverse as humanity itself. Some would descend into hedonism, seeking every pleasure before the end. Some would retreat into a quiet, resigned despair. Others, the true optimists, would try to find beauty in the last moments. They would read books by candlelight, They would sing songs in the darkness. They would find meaning in the connection between one human being and another, a fleeting, precious warmth in an otherwise cold universe. The old questions about life, death, and God would be replaced by one final, desperate question: what now? And the answer would be silence, a profound, unfeeling silence. But the real shift in our collective psychology would come in the long term, as we transition from a species of hope to a species of despair. But our ultimate fate would be stranger than anyone could imagine. Let's fast forward a year. The surface of the Earth is now a frozen, uninhabitable landscape. The oceans are solid, the plants are long gone. What remains of humanity is huddled in a few isolated pockets. Some may have found refuge in underground cities, perhaps in old subway systems or military bunkers, powered by geothermal or nuclear energy. Others might be living in submarines, trying to survive on the last of the world's deep-sea life. But these are temporary solutions. This is not a life. It is an existence. The human population would be in the millions, maybe a few 100,000. They would be living in a constant state of emergency. The air is cold and stale. The food is recycled, synthesized, or grown in hydroponic farms under artificial light. The old world, the world of trees and sunsets and fresh air, is a story they tell their children, a myth of a place they can no longer visit. The only view from their windows is the frozen, starless void of space. The goal is no longer to thrive, but to survive, to keep the lights on for one more day, to keep the water running for one more hour. The great human enterprise, the billions of us working, loving, and creating, has been reduced to a desperate, singular focus. Don't die today. The human spirit, for all its resilience, would be forever changed. We would become a species of huddlers, of bunker dwellers. Our art would be stark and grim, our music would be mournful, and our literature would be a chronicle of a lost world. But the most profound change would be our psychological landscape. Our understanding of time would have been erased. There is no day or night. There is no seasons. There is no future to plan for. There is just now. The weight of this endless present would crush us. We would live in a world of ghosts, of the memory of what was, of the sun on our faces, of the warm wind on our skin. The greatest irony is that we would still be a social species. We would still crave connection, but we would be trapped together in a sealed tomb. We would be a species in stasis, waiting for a miracle that will never come. But what if the sun is still there? What if the problem isn't with the sun, but with us? So far, we've explored the most logical, most probable outcomes. But let's push our minds a little further. What if this isn't a simple disappearance? What if the sun is still there, but something between us and it has changed? Perhaps an invisible interstellar cloud of dust, so vast it has completely obscured our view. Or maybe a bizarre, unknown astronomical event has created a temporal or spatial anomaly, a pocket of darkness that has swallowed us whole, but left the rest of the universe untouched. In this scenario, we would be a ghost ship in the cosmic ocean, a planet-sized lifeboat adrift in an unknown sea. And the true horror would be the knowledge that light, life, and warmth still exist, but they are just out of reach. We would be forever searching for a hole in the darkness, a pinprick of light that tells us we are not alone. Our satellites, the ones that still have power, would be our only hope. They would be our eyes and ears, searching for a sign, any sign, that the universe hasn't forgotten us. This would create a new kind of madness, a species-wide delusion. People would start to see things, to believe in prophecies. They would be the last true believers, waiting for the day the veil lifts and the sun returns. They would cling to this hope with a fervor bordering on insanity, because the alternative, the knowledge that we are truly and completely alone, is too much to bear. And what about the other living creatures? What about the deep-sea life we mentioned? The ones in the geothermal vents? They are not dependent on the sun. They would continue to thrive in their own cold, dark world. They would be the only true inheritors of this planet. And as we die out, as we run out of power and air, they will continue on, evolving, changing, perhaps even developing sentience. Imagine a new species, born from the very depths of our planet, thriving in a world that was our tomb. We are the masters of the land, but they are the masters of the deep, and in this new world, the deep is all that remains. And there is one final, mind-bending possibility. A paradox that could change everything we think we know. This is where we break from the scientific and the philosophical and move into the truly surreal. What if the sun never existed at all? What if our entire reality, the billions of years of cosmic history, the existence of our planet and our species, was all a carefully constructed illusion? What if we are not a biological species, but a simulation, a dream? And the sun, the source of our light and life, was just a line of code, an algorithm that has just been deleted. In this scenario, the sun hasn't disappeared. It was never there. The sudden darkness is not an end, but an awakening, an escape from a false reality. The world we knew, the one of warmth and light and love, was just a program. The truth is cold and dark and empty, and we, as a species, would have a choice to make. Do we cling to the memory of the light? Do we try to find a way to rewrite the code, to bring back the sun and return to our beautiful, comfortable prison? Or do we embrace the void? Do we accept this new reality, this new existence, and try to find meaning in the absence of light? This is a terrifying concept. It says that all our achievements, all our history, all our loves and losses were just a pre-written script. But it also offers a strange kind of freedom. We are no longer bound by the rules of this universe. We are no longer slaves to a physical reality. We are consciousness itself, adrift in an endless, formless expanse. The day the sun didn't rise could be the day we die, or it could be the day we are truly born. The question then becomes, what is our purpose now? What do we do with this strange, dark freedom? Do we create our own light? Do we learn to see in the dark, or do we simply fade away? We started with a simple question, a terrifying, beautiful, and impossible question. What if the sun didn't rise tomorrow? We have journeyed through the immediate chaos, the personal despair, the societal collapse, and the final mind-bending possibilities. We have seen a world stripped bare of its light, its warmth, and its hope. But what did we really learn? We learned that the sun is more than just a ball of gas. It's the very foundation of our reality. It's the rhythm of our lives. It's a source of meaning, of purpose, and of hope. It's what gives our world its color, its life, and its future. We learned that without it, we are not just a cold, dying planet. We are a species in crisis, forced to confront the very nature of our existence. We saw a world where humanity broke, but we also saw a world where it might have found a different kind of strength. A strength born from pure, unadulterated darkness. The ability to find warmth in each other when there is none in the sky. The ability to create light from within, when the outside world offers nothing but a void. So I leave you with this final thought. We live our lives assuming the sun will rise. We take it for granted every single morning. We wake up and we go about our day, never stopping to appreciate the incredible cosmic ballet that gives us life. But what if in that impossible darkness we finally understood what we were fighting for? What if the absence of light made us finally see what truly matters? If the sun didn't rise tomorrow, what would you do with your last moments of light? If this journey into the dark has left you with something to think about, something to fear, or something to hope for, hit that like button. Share this video with someone who needs a reminder of how incredible our world is. And if you're ready to dive into more mind-bending possibilities, subscribe and join our community. Because in a world full of questions, the best ones are the ones we ask together.